Okay guys, well this is part 2 of evolution of the souls. And what I'm showing you is how the Rider-Waite tarot deck is actually a key to understanding the evolution of our souls and how we are birthed from God consciousness as two parts to the one soul. We are two individual souls, but we also hold the essence of each other within our soul. And this can be connected to the Fibonacci sequence and the Fibonacci spiral. Now, for anyone that's just finding this information, I suggest that you go and look at the playlist titled Sacred Sciences of Kemet and watch the first few videos to give you an understanding of where this knowledge is sourced and how this information is being presented to you. For those of you that have seen twin soul in the title of this video and think that it is something to do with twin flames, then I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the twin flame information is total bullshit. And it has been put there for a reason, and that is to hide the truth from you. There is nothing romantic about twin souls. We are talking about nature here. We are talking about the evolution of the human soul. Twin souls are about as romantic as childbirth because it really is just nature at work. And so we need to remove this disinformation around this subject that has been put there for a reason. As I've said earlier, the New Agey movement has been heavily infiltrated and it cannot be trusted. Please, if you are interested in understanding yourself, and understanding the universe in which you exist, go back to the original source of information, and that is Hermetics, alchemy, astronomy, astrology I should say, and numerology. I mean, all of the occult sciences is where you need to go for your information. Start with the Kabbalion. That is the best place to start, and you will have more of an understanding about thyself and the principles in which we are governed. Okay, so let's have a look at the Fibonacci sequence, which is 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 13. So what's happening is the last two numbers are added together to create the third number. So 1 and 2 equal 3, 2 and 3 equal 5, 3 and 5 equal 8, okay, 5 and 8 equal 13, and it just continues on into infinity. And we can also see that there is a spiral. And we see that this is also the case. We have 0 and then 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34. And we see this in nature all the time. So we look to the Rider-Waite tarot deck, which fits in with this Fibonacci spiral. And this is how the ancients spoke to us through numbers, because mathematics and numbers is universal. 1 and 1 is always 2, no matter where in the universe you are. So this is why the ancients basically relayed this information to us in numbers and symbolism. And that's because it rarely ever changes with the symbolism. And with the numbers, well, it can never change. 1 and 1 will always be 2. So we have a look at the first card in the tarot deck, and that is the Fool. And the Fool is representing Orion, 0. That is God consciousness. And we can see in the card that we have both the ethereal and the manifested realms. We've got the sky that is yellow, and then we've got the polarity to that, which is the ice that is blue. This also is denoting the male and female energies. Male energies are reds and oranges. Female energies are always depicted as blues and violets. We have the pack basically containing the souls, and they are an unknown potential at this stage. The flower symbolizes their innocence because they are a blank canvas. They have not even manifested. They are only a potential at this stage. They are still locked up in this small bag here as just a potential. We see the dog symbolizing Sirius, the dog star, And we can see that the Fool is about to walk off the edge. Now, this is showing us that he is about to go from the ethereal into the manifest, and he has no knowing of what is before him. Now, we can also see that in the Fool's cap, Orion's cap, we have the feather. Now, if we go and have a look at the Visconti deck, this was created around the 1500s, and we see quite clearly that this is depicting Orion. He has his club, and he has the feathers in his hair, and he has 7 to be exact. Now, whenever you hear me talk of 7, 7 equates to the ethereal energetic body, or the 7 gates back to God consciousness. Think of each chakra in your body as a gate back to God consciousness. And we also see Orion in this older constellation map. And he carries the club once again, and he has feathers in his helmet. 2 feathers. Now, the feathers are symbolizing the light of Orion. And this is why in the weighing of the heart ceremony, we see that the heart is weighed against the feather. Now, the feather isn't talking about the weight, it's talking about the light. The light of Orion basically shining through us, through our energetic system. And if we are not in alignment, then we are a rejected, tainted soul. And we return to Atum. And this is nature at work. Once again, there is no vengeful God. It is just nature always only keeps the best and the strongest. That's how nature survives. We see it always in a turtle will come up onto the beach and she will lay 100 eggs. Now, only 50 of those eggs will survive. That's not vengeful. That's just nature showing that the fittest and the strongest and the best are the ones that survive, are the ones worthy of life, worthy of existence. Because our soul is immortal. As long as we stay in alignment with our heart, our soul is immortal. And so we are bestowed with this gift of life, and we have to basically show that we are worthy of this, worthy of this. And this is why the ancients, the Egyptians, said that there was nothing worse than a wasted life. Life was not to be wasted. Life was to be used for gaining knowledge and for understanding yourself and the world around you, not to just fritter away in $2 shops or on a burger and fries or watching the footy. Unfortunately, that is what has been given to us as our truth and our reality. And that's why we need to understand that this is all an illusion. It's not true. They wanted us believing that because they want us locked down into the physical instead of moving up into the energetic, which is who we really are. Now, we also see Odin, who is Osiris, who is Orion, and then we see Osiris as well. And I would say that Odin is Osiris because I think that it all goes back to ancient Egypt. They were the ones that were the first of us in the Zep Tepi. And this is once again why their civilization just appeared out of nowhere, because they were birthed in the highest of consciousness. Okay, so we've got 0, and then we have 1 plus 1. Now, if we look at this spiral, we can see that 1 plus 1 are in the same golden mean section. So it goes 0, then 1, 1. So we are looking at the birth of the twin souls in the etheric energetic form, the male and the female, from 0 point. And so we come back and we see that this is connected to the high priestess and the magician. So we see the magician here, and he has the yellow background, and on the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, the yellow background basically symbolizes the ethereal. We see that he has information from the divine, from God, and he is bringing this down to him onto the physical plane. He also has at his service the wands, the sword, the cups, and the pentacles, So these are his to use. And around his waist he has a serpent that is clasped on the tail. That is denoting the female soul, because each soul carries a part of the other soul within them. And then on the female high priestess card, we see that she has the Torah now unrolled on her lap. So she has an understanding of the information that he has just brought down. And we see that she has the serpent behind her. Now this is denoting the male. We can see that that's behind these two pillars. And they are also basically showing us the energy, the polarity of energy utilized to manifest us onto the physical plane. This is God's energy. Now we move down then into the next two cards. So let's have a look at what they equate to on the golden mean spiral. So we've come from 1-1 and then we go 2-3. Now this is the physical attributes the soul is going to bring down with them onto the physical realm, the manifested realm. And it's interesting to note that we see them all within the same section. 1, 2, 3. So we can also call this the Trinity. And when we have a look at the cards, we've got the Empress and we've got the Emperor. Now the Empress, we can see that she's more with the ethereal and with the heart. She's more connected to the ethereal, whereas the Emperor, his physical attributes are more foundational, and we see this in his big stone throne, as well as the ram's head, which symbolizes the animalistic and instinctive drive to his nature. Whereas the female works more through the heart, and as I said, she's more in the ethereal. But once again, they require each other, because the female requires the foundational attributes of the male soul, and the male soul requires the female attributes of the ethereal. Now, the next card is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is basically the contract that we make with God before we come down onto the physical realm. So he shows us our destiny, and he tells us what's expected of us. And at this time, we have the opportunity to either accept this destiny and this role or not. And then we go back to Atum to wait once again to be thought into existence by Orion and manifested onto the physical. And so we see that we've got the twin souls down the bottom here. We've got the red flowers denoting the female, and the white are the lilies that were on the Magician card. And we see that they've got two keys. Now these keys are the unlocking of knowledge, unlocking of truth. And we can see that they're given a key each, but the keys are crossed, meaning they need each other. Because just as with the High Priestess and the Magician has the knowledge, but it's the female that has the understanding of that knowledge. So she doesn't have the knowledge to understand without the male soul. And he doesn't have the understanding of the knowledge that he has without the female soul. And we can also see that with Odin and his two ravens, because they were known as thought and memory. And we also see this in the Tree of Life. The first two seraphots we've got here are understanding and wisdom. Once again, wisdom, the male, understanding, the female. And this is why the church has sought to remove women from the religious institutions. That's because they knew that the women had the ability to decode the symbolism. So they basically shut the women off, and they made the women of little value. They made people perceive women's intelligence as of little value, and anything a woman has to say is of little value. And they did this for a reason, because they don't want us to unlock the truth. Well, too late. I've already done it. So we all are going to have the opportunity, hopefully, to find this information for ourselves. Okay, so we're down to the Hierophant, and it looks like we're at the end of another video. Unfortunately, I only get 15 minutes on YouTube at the moment, so I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to have to come back with part 3, and I will explain what happens when the souls are manifested on the physical plane. Okay, guys, well, peace out.